So let me start with you, Senator, because I'm sure a lot of people saw what happened there yesterday, and they saw how you refuted the report of the police, which was brought before you. You seemed very dissatisfied with what the police was saying. What precisely had led to that?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank the Channels family for this opportunity to throw more light on what we do as the eye of the people before the government. By law, the Public Account Committee is the only committee of the National Assembly that is set up pursuant to the constitutional provision of 1999, which is the grand norm. And we are saddled with the responsibility of auditing all public accounts, both personnel, finance, and materials used to serve Nigerian people. Consequently, we work with the Office of the General of the Federation, who from time to time does routine checks, you can call it audit, of all government assets and funds. And we are examining 2019 report till date, which is about 4 to 5 years audit report of the Office of the General of the Federation. So in the course of that briefing, particularly in 2019 reports, we saw that 4,900 some fraction firearms, mainly AK-47 and other high-powered firearms, were missing within the police force. And the Office of the General wrote a letter to the then Inspector General of Police to provide explanations as to the whereabouts of these firearms, because these firearms were actually purchased with the public fund. So the public, deserve the explanation as to their whereabouts. But that invitation or that request for that clarification was not honored. So this time around, the report came up again, and we were demanding that Nigerians need to know what happened. Then preliminarily, when we went into the matter, we discovered that some of these firearms were lost as a result of the killing of some of these men, which we prayed for God to accept their souls in heaven, because they paid the supreme price for us to be secured. So we appreciate those who are very gallantly in defending our country, and in the course of that, they died and their firearms were taken. So it goes without saying that a dead man is a conquered person. So it is a good explanation to those points. But unfortunately, the numbers that we have, based on the investigation report given to us, is less than 10%, less than 5% of what we are talking about. So that made us to be more curious to say, if we are missing 4,900 firearms and we have explanation to 10 or 15, then there is a big question mark there. It may not have happened under the watch of the current IGP. Everybody knows that, but being a public institution is a continuous process. He is under that obligation to explain to Nigerians, based on the records of handover he had, where he is not satisfied with the records of handover, he can ask for people in charge when these arms were lost. Because as a country, nothing is right unless it is right. We must be determined to do things differently so we can have different results. So if you are a senator, you must do your job in line with the constitutional provision. If you are a policeman, you must do your job in line with the constitutional provision. The same thing with people in the media. Everybody must sit up. The angels cannot come down from heaven to make our country, Nigeria, to be like the United States of America. It is we, the citizens. Is when we call a spade, that is when Nigeria will be good. And we must start somewhere. It is, and I want to also use the opportunity to call for reformation of Nigerian police. Last 2 weeks ago, in the course of my interview, I said I'm not supporting state police, because the Nigerian police is doing well. The Nigerian police has all it takes to protect everybody in this country. What they need is just two things: better welfare and manpower. So instead of splitting the police into states, which may be abused by politicians, increase the manpower of Nigerian police. We already have a very good institution that have always done well in the global community. So all we need to do is to encourage them more, increase their number, they will deliver.
I'd like you to give us some clarity. There's a report, as at yesterday, which says that according to the Auditor General's report, the police lost about 178,000 449 firearms as of 2018, but the rider to it is that 3,907 were unaccounted for as at 2020. This is what we believe that you were told. I'd like to have some clarity on that, please.
Thank you so very much, my dear brother. What we are considering is the report of the Office of the General of the Federation from 2019 till date. Yes, he gave us an insight of what they had as at 2018, but what is before us is the report from 2019 till date. And in that report, 3,907 firearms, mainly AK-47, is missing within the Nigerian police force. And that is what we are discussing. The one of 8,000 is not before us, though he made reference to it. That is the rep of the Auditor General of the Federation. However, like I said earlier, when we probed further as to the whereabouts of these firearms, we discovered that some were lost as a result of the death of the officers that were holding them. And these people paid the supreme price, and we should honor them as a nation. However, over 99% is unaccounted for. And that is why we asked the AIG, who is representing the IG, to go and come back and give us facts on this, because all we need to know is to give account as to the whereabouts of these firearms. If all the officers were all killed, and that is why the firearms were lost, we need to know. If the firearms are being hoarded somewhere, we need to know. If some were recovered after the report, because I know that many may have been recovered after the report, Nigerians need to know. We need this information because it will guide us in making our budgets. Because if Nigerian police is losing such a number of arms, it is important that they be supported, to replace these firearms.
All right, Senator, one of the things that's been an issue for me, forgive me, is the length of time it takes for us to consider the Auditor General's report. For instance, you're just telling us now that your committee is looking at the 2019-2020 Auditor General's report. That's about 6-7 years ago. Now, so there are those who will be wondering, Senator, if there is anything really that can come out of the report that you're whatever it is, the findings that you're going to make, what's going to change? Because over time, what we have seen is that we don't get to look at the Auditor General's report. We don't even hear about the Auditor General's report for another 2, 3, 4 years down the line after the fact. So is there a plan or a process to redress that process?
Thank you so very much. All I can tell you is that the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is out to address all these lapses and the weakness in the internal system of our job as Parliament. You agree with me that the 10th Senate is barely a year plus some months, and this thing was the 2019 even to 2022 ought to have been treated by the 9th Senate, but that was not done. And that is why the 10th Senate, is starting from where the 9th Senate stopped. And that we are treating 2019 report does not mean that we have not done anything for 2022, 2023. We are picking them randomly based on the strength of the issue, just like the one we are talking about. So we start with the big issues, and then later we can go back to the small issues. So Nigerians should expect something different. Because when you look at the faces you are seeing today in the Nigerian Senate, probably you didn't see some of them before now. That is true that this is a new dawn. Nigerian youths are out to know what is happening to our country. The area of lapses must be corrected. We are not here to probe anybody or to indict anybody, but what we are saying is that everybody must be on his or her toes when they are serving the public. Believing that we are all equal before the law. That is the principle of rule of law. So this time around, things must be done properly. So Nigerians should expect something positive from all these reports we are considering, because we are going to make them public.